Okay, welcome to ProcessTrading.com and the Right Edge Trading System. These are the ProcessTrading.com indicators. Now, it looks like, maybe indicator overload, but what you have here is very unique indicators that tell you specific things about a price and price action. And the screen is divided into two segments. It's the upper segment here that has the indicators depicting what the price action itself is doing, and then you have these three indicators at the bottom here that depict the energy, the sentiment of the trader community, and the volatility of what the price is doing. Now, these are all non-correlated indicators, and they're leading indicators, so they tell you ahead of time what's going to happen, or in real time what's going to happen, but they are not correlated because they're based off of different data. And also the algorithms behind them are looking at what data is similar in an entirely different way. And even though they're non-correlated, they are coordinated, so they will help refine your interpretation of exactly what is happening. And let me show you what I mean by that. Today I just want to talk very briefly about volume, but in order to do that, let me show you an interesting thing here. Here is the sentiment oscillator. Now what we're going to do is follow this momentum line, and when it cuts across the sentiment line, that's this dashed line here, and we're going to see what happens at price up here at those moments. So here we go. Right here, it cuts across, it's going up, price goes up. Right here, it's going down through it, price starts dropping down. Here, it cuts through it going down, price goes down. Here it cuts through, price going up, price goes up. Here it cuts through, price goes down, price goes down. Here it cuts through, price goes up, price goes up. Here it cuts down through it, price goes down, price goes down. Here it is cutting through it going up. You can see the price goes up. Here it is going down, price goes down, up, and down. So you can see how extremely accurate this is all by itself. And so this tells you when price is moving and what direction it's going to move. But then you need something even more refined to tell you, well, within this move here, what is happening during that time period and during that price movement. And the way that we do that is we look at the internal energy. Now, this is what I wanted to talk to you about, because this internal energy is really a better proxy for volume, or it's a new way of looking at volume. So let's do that now. We'll go over here. Now here is, and this is the S&P Mini, and here is the price bars. I've taken everything else off just to show you the difference. Here is your standard volume bars, if you want to read them that way. They really don't tell you what is happening and when it's happening. But with the internal energy, which is a better proxy, this you can think of this as a volume indicator, but it's really a proxy for volume. This is a volume indicator, just a standard indicator that comes with like TradeStation or any other platform. Now, in the energy, in any of these volume bars, and we know that price follows momentum and momentum follows volume, so we'll do the same thing here. When we look at the energy of the moves, so you know that what happens is that when there is demand coming in, and there's more demand, there's more buyers hitting the ask than, hitting the bid than selling at the ask, then price is going to go up, and vice versa. When there's more selling at the ask, then price is going to go down. Depends on what that ratio is. Well, in the internal energy in the indicator here, you have this configuration within this indicator. And let's see what that would tell us as opposed to looking at just traditional price bars. So in this indicator, the green represents demand or buyers. The red indicates supply or sellers. The gray bars indicate there's weakness coming in. Like if they're up here within the demand side, that means there's weakness coming in demand. It doesn't necessarily mean there's supply coming in yet, but it means that there's weakness coming in. And in the supply side, here is weakness coming in to the selling. So whether you're on the buying side or the selling side, at some point there's going to be weakness because the number of buyers and sellers are going to diminish. And you can see how that would occur. There's an influx of buyers, they diminish. There's an influx of sellers, they diminish, and so on. And you can see the amplitude of these actually tell you the degree to which that ratio exists as well. And when you get to the zero line, this is where there's no demand and no supply. Then next we have these white bars. Now a white bar is telling you more about the price action. And remember when we had, let's go back over here a second, when we had these little segments in here, or this segment in here, we want to know exactly what's happening during that segment. Then we look up at the energy during that segment, and we see magenta and we see white over here, and that's what we're looking at over here. We see the white bars. Now the white bars, whether they're in the demand side or they're in the supply side, they are read the same way, and they tell you about the price action itself. These white bars say that price is going to move down or it's the end of a down. So you would look at all the other indicators to help you see that, but you can see the advantage here of this proxy for volume over just traditional volume bars. So we saw that right here, demand came in, buyers came in, and they increased as they would until it started to diminish. Here we see the weakness come into the buying structure. In other words, fewer buyers are now stepping in. And right here, we see that it says, now price itself, this is not talking about demand or buyers and sellers. This is talking about price right here, the white bar. It tells you the price is going to move down or that is the end of the down. So let's see where that is right here. Right here it tells you the price is going to move down or at the end of the down. So here we have the actual traditional volume bars, and right here, if you can read those bars somehow, you could tell that weakness started to come in right at that bar. Now it is true there is a down bar in price, but reading these bars is very non-intuitive and it's not logical. The price proxy for volume that tells you the energy behind the demand that's coming in or the supply that's coming in or the buying and selling is very intuitive and very logical. So it shows you that, yes, as normally as it would, the demand increases with the influx of buyers, then it gets weak, and right over here it says the price is going to move down or that's the end of the down. Now with the other part of your system, you'd be able to tell which direction that's going to be, but just by this alone, and you can see the direction of it heading down here, you can tell that the probability of it is that it's going to come down. Now, here you finally get into supply. At this point here, it's kind of like an equilibrium where there's no demand and no supply. But now we do see supply coming in, and these white bars are read the same way, whether they're in the demand side or the supply side. This says they're talking about price now here, and this says that price is going to move down, or that's the end of the down. Okay, so you see those prices come in over there. Now, let me tell you about the two others. I want to find them here. So let me move this over here. Okay, so the other in the final part of the internal energy, or the energy here, that tells you again about demand, which is the green bars, supply is the white bar, gray bars when weakness comes in, and the white bars telling you that it's either a move down or the end of a down. The last thing you have is you have magenta bars on the supply or on the demand side, and you have cyan bars over here on the supply side. So the magenta and the cyan bars say exactly the same thing about price as well. So the white bars say the same thing about price, whether it's in demand or supply, and the magenta and the cyan bars say the same thing. And what the magenta bars tell you, that price is going to move up, or this is the end of an up. And it would be the same thing over here in the supply side. The price is either going to move up, or this is the end of an up. So even at this point right here, you could tell that this cyan bar says the price is going to move up, or it's the end of an up, and it's associated here with a down movement. So, and it's on the supply side of the histogram, and you can see the level of it right here. It tells you actually a lot in conjunction with the candle itself. So we can have a probability of what we anticipate that price is going to do. So going back over here, this says that price is going to move up, or it's the end of an up, and we see that price moves laterally here just before the end of the up is over. That's this little up here, and that is the end of the up. And right here, we see that it says price is going to move down, or that's the end of the down, and it combines there. So right over here, so this magenta bar here was informing us about the potential move down, as well as this white bar right here. Then when we look over here, we see that the supply side got weak over here, and then demand started coming in right here. I don't know if you can tell that by just these simple volume bars. And so we see demand coming in, and as it would, it crescendos. It goes to an apex. That's the way the buyers come in, buyers come in, buyers come in. They finally get exhausted, and then they start to get weaker with fewer and fewer buyers. But right at this point here, we have a magenta bar that tells us that price is going to move up, or that's the end of an up. Well, this part of demand just started, and we see that the demand bars are increasing in size and stepping up as they would to the apex. So along with the other indicators, this is a good sign that this small trend is underfoot. Let me see if I can find any more real quickly here for you. Well, we'll just take this one. So this is the one we just looked at. It told us that that's a move up, or it's the end of an up, and here we see that up continue. until we get at the top of the apex here, and then we start to see a decline in the buying, I mean in the demand. And even right here, this, remember, this tells us about price, that it's going to, it's the end of the down, or it's going to move down. And so we're looking at that. It did move down here. Here's another one that says it's at the end of the down, or it's going to move down. And we see during these down moves here with price, also demand is starting to get, it's weaker. We can see that with the gray bars, which indicate weakness. It doesn't, gray bars don't necessarily mean supply, but they do mean weakness, and the white bars tell you that price is going to move down, or that's the end of the down. Well, in this case, we see that it's telling us it's going to move down. Here's the last residual energy right here from this up move. So you can think of it as a little pullback here, and then we see right here another white bar, the price is going to move down, or it's the end of the down. Well, you can see how I'm reading all this, and we see the supply coming in right here with another white bar right up here in the upper third of this down move. So that, I don't know if you can tell that by just these volume bars. That's why this internal energy from processtrading.com and the right edge system, it lets you read the right edge. It lets you read what's going on over here. So that is it for, I just wanted to give you an idea of how the internal energy helps tell you even more specifically. You know what's going on over here because of the momentum line right here, and the sentiment, which is the trader community, or the conviction of price, and you know that it's cutting through, so the probability is that it's going up. But now during this up move where demand is coming in, what is actually happening? And right here we can see that momentum wise, that goes above the top of the oscillator, and then right at that point as well, we see that volume, or the internal energy, comes in with a white bar, and then you continue to just keep reading that the way it is. So that's what I wanted to show you about the difference between reading the internal energy and just reading volume bars, where this is intuitive, logical, informative, and it gives you an edge in reading what the price action is doing. So if you want to see more about that, you can go over to processtrading.com and look at the indicators in the system. There's blogs and videos over there. And if you want to learn more about the system here too, subscribe, hit the subscribe button to these videos. And I'm putting these videos out to help clarify using the right edge trading system from processtrading.com, because you don't want a bunch of indicators that are telling you the same thing, and you don't want to overload it with indicators, but you want to do something that it all makes sense, it all fits together. That is why this is not a group of isolated indicators. It is a system where they're all telling you something in a more refined way about what price is doing and what is going to happen at each price level. So that's it for this, and I hope all your trading goes well, and I'll catch you on the next video.